Happy New Year, everybody. This is Pastor Blake, not waiting on people to get on or anything like that. We yesterday, the last Sunday of the year, December 31st, 2023, talked about being devoted and being faithful. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? We talked about having a devoted and faithful year. And so we wanted to start out as the apostles said that they devoted them, as Luke said that the early church devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, breaking of bread, fellowship, and the prayer. So I'm just going to get on here as we've taken this challenge to read one chapter a day of Proverbs and do what we call noonday nuggets. So at noon, I'll come on, I'll read Proverbs chapter 1, and I'm going to drop a little science on us. Not a sermon or anything like that, but just some insights. So we're going to get into some wisdom. When it comes to reading the Bible, to all your family and friends, feel free to share it with them. A lot of times people will say things like, hey, the Bible is not practical. It's not something that I really understand. But one of the things is that one of the most practical books in all of the Bible, one of the best ways to read and to learn how to live is through the book of Proverbs. And so for the first 31 days of January, we're going to read one chapter a day of Proverbs. Proverbs were written by King Solomon, the son of David. And so I'm going to read 33 verses, and I'll do a little talking, and we'll get off. I hope y'all enjoy this time, and it'll maybe help you and just how you do it, and I'll just let you know how I do it when I read my one chapter a day. So we're going to start out in the book of Proverbs. Chili Bill, good to see you, man. So we're reading one chapter a day, the book of Proverbs, for the next 31 days, and then come February, I'll give us the book of Acts, which is 28 chapters, and we'll read 28 chapters. So we're just going to read, and then I'll talk a little bit. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to discern the sayings of understanding, to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the naive, to the youth knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding will acquire wise counsel. To understand a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Indeed, they are a graceful wreath to your head and ornaments about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, and let us lie in wait for blood, let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, even whole as those who go down to the pit. We will find all kinds of precious wealth. We will find our houses with. We will fill our houses with spoil. Throw in your lot with us, and we shall have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your feet far from their path. For their feet run to evil, and they hasten to shed blood. Indeed, it is useless to spread the baited net in the sight of any bird. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who gains by violence. It takes away the life of the possessors. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She lifts her voice in the square. And the head of the noisy street she cries out. At the entrance of the gates of the city she utters sayings. How long, O naive ones, will you love being simple-minded? And scoffers delight themselves in scoffing, and fools hate knowledge. Turn to my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit on you, and I will make my words known to you. Because I called you and you refused. I stretched out my hand and no one paid attention. And you neglected all my counsel and did not want my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity, and I will mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, and they will not find me. Why? Because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would not accept my counsel. They spurned all my reproof. So they shall eat of the fruit of their own way and be satiated with their own devices. For the waywardness of the naive will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But he who listens to me shall live securely and will be at ease, from the dread of evil. So, fam, we're reading Proverbs chapter 1, just a couple of nuggets to think about. Solomon is the son of King David. King David wrote the majority of the book of Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praises shall continue. Psalm 34. So David is the one who wrote the majority of the Psalms. He is Solomon's dad. So he wrote those songs and those prayers to God. But his son, as he models his dad and looks at his dad, a wise man, his son picks up from his dad writing and wisdom from God the Father. And so both of them have a connection with God the Father, and David is Solomon's father, and Solomon is his son. And so Solomon picks up from his dad the gift of writing, to write meaningful things about God, to share with others. And Solomon in particular is writing to an audience of what you would call naive people. What's up, Butch Jones? Solomon is writing to naive people. What he wants to do is he says that if they're young and inexperienced people, those are people who are naive, don't know much. They're young and inexperienced. If I write them wisdom and they listen to it, they'll grow in their knowledge and they'll become mature, wise people. But if they reject wisdom, what will happen is they'll end up being fools and scoffers. And so Solomon's main goal is to take people who don't know much and to drop some sayings of wisdom on them. And if they listen and learn from that wisdom and live it out, their lives will be totally changed. They'll be characterized as wise living people. They'll make correct decisions. And he starts out with the number one decision that everybody needs to make is, he says, the beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. How you respect the Lord, what you think of God, your creator, in the person of Jesus Christ. He says that when you begin to have a relationship, the fear of the Lord, the one who has final say in your life, he says that's when knowledge starts. Where knowledge really starts is not with math, not with reading, not with writing, but it's having a real relationship with the Lord and fearing him. Now, we'll find out a little bit more about what fear is, because fear also involves turning from evil, Proverbs will say. So Proverbs will say, hey, those who fear the Lord, they turn from evil. So they know that there's situations out there, there are temptations out there, there's solicitations out there. And if we're honest, we didn't turn away from evil a lot. I didn't turn away from evil a lot when I was a kid. There were certain things I was like, nah, I ain't going to do that because I might get in too much trouble. But there were things to where I just didn't turn. He said, but the more and more you become knowledgeable of God, you begin to turn away from evil things, because evil things and temptations are always out there. Just like in the prayer, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and deliver us from evil, and do not let us fall into temptation. Temptation, solicitation, and enticement is going to always be out there. So he says, first of all, I need you to fear the Lord. But then after you fear the Lord, here's 2 and 3. Listen to your father and listen to your mother. Listen to your father and your mother that are providing wisdom. So as a wise couple share wise insights with their children. And if that child listens to the wise instructions of their father and their mother, which means that the father and mother have to be on the same accord and drop in the same knowledge. You can't have a wise husband and an unwise wife. And you can't have an unwise husband and a wise wife. You got to have a wise husband and a wise wife that when God blesses them with children, they're dropping the same knowledge. And he says, so I want you to listen to your father's instruction and your mother's teaching, and there'll be like a wreath around your head. In essence, it's like a gold medal in the Olympics. It'll be like a golden wreath around your head that you will win in life listening to your father and mother if they're instructing you in the ways of the Lord. So Solomon says, I want the naive to do better, and I want the youth. When you read Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1 through 6, here's my audience. I want young people to do well. A lot of young people are those that say, man, I don't understand the Bible. Well, no one's ever really broken that thing down to us the way it needed to be broken down to us. And so, as a result, Solomon says, I'm writing in particular to young people, and I'm writing to those that don't have much experience in life, because he knows that you got to navigate through life. And there are going to be so many things that come your way, so many decisions that you're going to make. And that's why he and these other authors write the book of Proverbs so that for 31 chapters, they can drop nuggets on us so that we can realize how to take those bite-sized pieces, chew them up, and live life well. But he also says in verses 10 through like 20, he said there are going to be people out there that are going to entice you. And not everybody that we're close with is really your friend. And he says that they want to invite you in, make you seem like you need to join us on what we're doing. You're left out. You're off to the side, man. You're not in with the crowd. We're all doing this. And he said, let's lie in wait for innocent blood. So notice that there's always going to be someone enticing you to do evil against two layers of authority in your life. The beginning of wisdom and knowledge is the fear of the Lord. Is someone in your life instructing you to do something that the Lord and the scriptures don't say? Is someone in your life more influential than your parents who birthed you and prayed for you to do something different in your life? So whenever you see someone, if you're a youth and you're trying to be wise and you're not trying to be naive, young person or an adult person, is what someone is telling you, number one, against the Lord, number two, against your parents. And he said, if there's someone asking you to do something different than what they said, he said, then, man, run away from that. Run away from that. And then he says, why? Because all your life, wisdom has been shouting out in the streets. This is the last part of Proverbs. Wisdom is shouting out in the streets. And wisdom is telling you and wisdom is telling me, hey, here's what's going on. Things have been dropped. Pieces of information have been shared. And when pieces of information have been shared, a lot of times it's not that we haven't heard the truth. It's not that we haven't heard wisdom. It's did we receive it? Did we listen to it when it was there? Those valuable pieces of information. Or did we wave God off, wave our parents off, and say, man, let's go do what the crowd does? And he says, and then when you do that over and over again and you don't listen to wisdom, he said, here's the penalty. He said, you're going to cry out to wisdom when life gets tough. And you're going to now want wisdom because life got tough and life got rough. And all those things that your friends, so-called friends, sold you on, they ain't real. And when you realize it's not real, guess what? You're going to be in a bad position in life. He said, and then you're going to call out to wisdom and ask for help. He says, and wisdom's not going to respond. Why? Because wisdom said, all these years I've told you. And your life is going to be the sum of the decisions that you're making. And because of the decisions that you made and we made to disobey God and parents and the right authority in our life, he says, here's the deal. He said, man, wisdom's going to say, I'm going to leave you out there to your own choices, leave you to your own devices. And we often think, hey, man, God is long-suffering. True. But he says that what wisdom will do is wisdom will say, hey, you've been taught and you kept on disobeying. And as a result, man, you've ended up like a naive, foolish scoffer. And your life is the sum of your choices that you've made because you rejected wisdom. Wisdom is important. And so he says, but those who listen to wisdom, he said, you'll live securely. He said, when you listen to wisdom and you follow wisdom and you train yourself on the knowledge, the instruction, and the ways of the Lord, he said, man, your life will turn out all right. And that's Proverbs chapter 1. And so I'm going to leave it right there with Proverbs chapter 1. And so we'll be dropping noonday nuggets. So we're just reading, a chapter a day. So we hit Proverbs chapter 1. I'll come back and hit it again tonight. Just read it personally. We're going to start the year off with a series called Raw, Real Authentic Wisdom. Listen, learn, and live based on the wisdom that we've been taught. So it's Raw, Real Authentic Wisdom. Listen, learn, and live. The book of Proverbs. So we start this upcoming Sunday at Crossover Bible Fellowship. We have an open invitation. If you can join us physically and be there at 12332 Perry Road, Houston, Texas, 8:30 and 11 o'clock, open invitation. If not, join us on Facebook Live or YouTube. We'll be there. You can also download the Crossover Bible Fellowship app and tune in to our messages and our digital disciples from across the country. Dive in with us. But wanted to kind of come in and drop a couple of noonday nuggets from Proverbs. If you joined in late, just rewind it. It ain't long. And check out those pieces. Listen, learn, live. You got it, man. Real authentic wisdom, Proverbs. And I'm looking forward to a great year. Really excited about the way the year ended. Yesterday, I really felt like we had a strong presence of God in the place. A lot of people calling on God in prayer. Great praise and worship session. And, crossover, it was just good to be together to close out the year strong. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to be doing in 2024, expecting more of the Lord. And then we'll start into the book of Acts on Wednesday nights, January the 17th at 7 o'clock at the Emmaus Experience. We'll be going through the book of Acts. So January 1 through 31, we're reading Proverbs, 31 chapters. February, we start reading the book of Acts, 28 chapters, 28 days in February. So love y'all. If you got any questions, y'all can ask them real quick, but I'm getting ready to get off. But these noonday nuggets, I'll be dropping them. I'll just read the chapter, share a couple things, and, it's not designed to be a sermon or anything like that. Just drop a couple of nuggets, and we'll get off. If you got any questions, I'll take some. And if not, man, I'm going to go try to pray that Alabama beats Michigan and see what the Lord is going to let us find out from Alabama versus Michigan. So much love, y'all, and it has been enjoyable. I see you, Yolanda, and I appreciate it, but we're going to be dropping these noonday nuggets. Butch, man, Alabama, man, pray hard, and if we can get past that, I'm praying that Washington helps us and beats Texas, and then maybe we can get another championship. So thank you, Sharon Henry. Hope y'all have a good day, and I didn't mean to interrupt your food or anything like that. Thank you, Butch, man. I know you were faithful. So, but we'll be dropping noonday nuggets, Proverbs. So join us. Butch, tune us in on Sundays, man. We're looking forward to what God's going to say to us and how he's going to grow us. We're going to be dealing with themes in the book of Proverbs. And so, wise choices, wise relationships, wise finances, all kind of subjects that Proverbs addresses, wise direction in life, wise counsel, all those things. So, looking forward to it. God bless y'all. Have a great day. Happy New Year, everybody. Much love.